All right. What's going on, guys? It's been a long time since I made a YouTube video. I think it's been like 2, 3 months. So pretty good chunk of time. Uh, Today I want to do a video that's a little bit different than what I've been doing or what I had been doing. I just want to talk about life a little bit because I think people appreciate talking about life and hearing some like other experiences that people have been going through. So today I'm going to talk about anxiety and how it's kind of just controlled my entire life. I mean, that's really what I want to talk about. I think one of the main things is that I started having like extreme anxiety when I was in high school, maybe when I was like sophomore in high school. So I was about 15 or 16 when I started having some like terrible like I don't even know if they were anxiety attacks, but I would just feel like terrible and super stressed out. And so that's kind of just progressed as I've gotten older. Recently, I turned 25 and I had some time to just go ahead and rethink everything that I've done, everything that's been going on in my life, because I think it's good to reevaluate. And I think everyone who's kind of going through some shit should reevaluate what's going on in their lives. I just want to be clear that I don't like, I don't like, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know anything about anxiety, like, and other than what I've been going through. But I will say the last couple weeks, I've been thinking about the things that I've done, things that I haven't done. You know, I dropped out of college and then now I'm deciding to go back at 25 and it's been one of the biggest like causes of stress in my entire life. But I think also it's like a good thing because, you know, it's it's good to go and be educated, I guess. At least that's what I'm told. But, for years, like during high school and after high school, I didn't want to really go to college. I think in high school, my biggest dream, one of the biggest dreams was to go play baseball. And I didn't even really think about like playing Division 1 baseball because I kind of knew where I was skill wise. I just needed to, get to a point where I was good enough to play just anywhere, even if it was small town school, in college, and I got that experience. And it didn't happen. I had some things happen at the end of high school, and it just didn't end up happening because I lost, focus on my one main goal, and I it had, I guess, terrible anxiety. I had so anxiety attacks and stuff like that, and it stopped me from doing the one thing I wanted to do most. But when I think about it now, I think, yeah, it's probably a really good thing that I didn't because I've learned to love so many other things. But I think something that's important to know is that, it's taken me years to kind of get over this fear and anxiety of school or money and all this sort of stuff that, anyone in their 20s has to deal with. And I'm trying not to let it control me. I think that, I mean, nobody should let anxiety or any sort of like stress or anything control you in your life because you have control of your own life. That whole, you know, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. I've never really believed in that, to be real honest, because everyone has their limits and everybody, is not capable of doing things, whether it's because of money or whether it's because, physical limits, like in sports. Like my one goal to play Division 1 baseball, didn't get there. And it probably wouldn't have got there even if I was at like my best because, physical limits. I'm not very big. It's just it's just one of those things. And so now you know? I've let, you know, all of this kind of combine into this one like terrible I can hardly sit down and feel relaxed all like at any point in the day. Like I feel a need to be not necessarily productive, but to do something, just anything to just kind of get through the day so I don't have to think about how terrible I feel or like how stressed I feel. That's the kind of anxiety that I kind of deal with. And most of the time, I have no idea what's wrong with me. I just kind of am like, well, something feels wrong. I need to do something. And that's kind of what I've been going through. And, that's how I felt when I was younger. And I let that control my entire life. And I I'm at a point where I don't want that to be anymore. And for whoever's watching this, you shouldn't let something like that control you. No, I know a lot of people are going through so many different things that I can't possibly understand because I'm not you or I'm not this big group of people who are going through things. So I can only understand what I'm going through personally. Uh, but I think, just thinking about those years in the past, my anxiety is something that stopped me from going to college, actually dropping out of college. And I think if I wasn't so stressed about so many different things and had this crazy anxiety and these crazy thoughts that I was going to like fail or I couldn't do something, it just led to me not getting to where I wanted to be. And I think that has made me feel a little bit disappointed in myself, and I know so many other people feel that same exact way. But to be real honest, I think that's something that is kind of good. At the end of the day, it's a good thing because it's a learning experience. You know, you can only go through life one time. So I had those couple years right out of high school from when I was like 18 to about 23. And I just had years when I did like nothing with my life. And I'm so disappointed. And I was so disappointed with myself. I just felt like I wanted to do something more. But every time it was like you have an opportunity to go do something or just go to school, and get your degree and then go do something. I felt like I could not do it just because, this crazy thoughts would go through my head that I, you know, was going to fail. And I hated that, you know? So that anxiety kind of came back and I was like going through days where I had no idea what was wrong with me. And I had like family members ask me, "What's wrong with you? Is there something wrong?" And I just can only answer, like, I have no idea. I have no idea what's wrong. And most days I'm perfectly fine. I just have days where I wake up and I don't feel as good as other days, which is alarming, but I'm at a point in time where I feel like I am moving past it, or at least trying to move past it, make some big changes in my life. And for whoever's watching, you have to know that it's gonna be okay. Like everything's gonna be okay. And you have control of your life. Nobody has control over you or your life or anything. But it's like I said, everyone's going through something different, whether it's, mentally or health physically. We never really know. I don't know. So if you're going through something, just know the best thing you can do is to stop worrying, stop being stressed, and go do that thing that you want to do. Try, at least try. Because at the end of the day, I think just moving on and trying new things is the most important thing in life because I've been stuck in the same place for a very long time. And me personally, I feel like the only thing I can do is just move on, you know, get out, do new things. That's it's terrible advice a little bit. It's so vague and basic, but that's kind of what, you gotta do. Whether it's moving, whether it's getting a new job, whether it's, starting a YouTube channel, whether it's, starting a TikTok, account, it can be anything, just do it. You never know what can happen. Um, we're getting to the point where it's the end of the video. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching and really take some time to think about what's going on with yourself. Take some time to reevaluate everything. If things are good, you know, be thankful that things are good. If things aren't good, maybe it's time for a change. You never know. So, like I said, if you're still watching, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, anything. I'd be super grateful for that. So, I think I'm going to end it here. So, peace.